Well, my name is Marty Flanagan, and I am the Vice President of Franchising here at Code Ninjas. And we host these calls each and every week to help give you a better understanding of Code Ninjas, who we are, what we're doing, what's going on, and hopefully answer any questions you might have in regards to just anything about Code Ninjas. So how these calls normally work is we take this next 10 to 15 minutes, and I give you a brief introduction or overview of Code Ninjas, that you kind of know where we're at. And then we move into something called our Q&A session. The Q&A session is where you virtually raise your hand and you can ask any questions that you have in regards to Code Ninjas. So whether it's something I went over today on today's call you want clarity on, or if it's going to be something that I didn't touch on and that you want to discuss and ask questions about. So that's our open forum. That could go for 10 minutes. It could go for an hour. It really just depends upon you and your questions. These calls every week have anywhere from 20 to 30 attendees. Usually it's between the U.S. and Canada. We are franchising in Canada. That has opened up, and we're looking to, it looks like we'll be adding our first Canadian franchisees here in the next couple weeks. So that's really exciting for Code Ninjas to be able to be open up and to be having territories coming to Canada. So when it comes to Code Ninjas, what's going on? If this is the first time you've heard anything, we teach kids how to code through a game-based curriculum. Our founder, David Graham, he owned a school that taught adults how to code for about 4.5 years and operated in 18 different cities. David Graham, myself, and Bert started Code Ninjas in 2016. We started awarding territories and opened our first location up in March of 2017. And how this all came about is as David was owning his school and there were so many individuals that would come up to him, there wasn't actually a week that didn't go by for many years that he wasn't asked questions about how do we get the younger generation involved? What do we do? I want to get my kids to know how to do this. How can I do that? And he kept getting asked those questions from his students, from parents that he knew, and actually from organizations about getting the younger generation involved. So as he started to do research, he started to see a major gap in what was being taught out there and trying to put this idea together of how we can structure this so that we have a cumulative learning process that our kids can do and to learn how to code. And as he was sitting in his kids' karate class, he saw it, right? The belting system. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about our main curriculum, which is we call our drop-in program, which is made up of 9 different belts, just like a karate or dojo would be. So as that went through, we really kind of started to process how we could build Code Ninjas, and we built Code Ninjas as a franchise from day one. So everything we've done, we've taken it through this lens of being a franchisor and a franchisee of our experience of being both of those and how we could put that all together. So today we're going to talk a little bit about support as a franchise. We're going to talk about curriculum for us as a franchise, what that looks like. We'll touch on a couple other topics as well, and then open it up for any questions that you might have. So a little bit about our history. Like I mentioned, David Graham, he was a franchisee of a brand. He's been a coder, a programmer for more than 25 years, entrepreneur. And then, like I said, he also owned that school that taught adults how to code. That he sold in 2016, and then that obviously is where we started with Code Ninjas. I myself spent 12 years building one of the largest franchises in the country, one of the largest fitness franchises in the country right now. I spent 12 years there, a part of their internal support structure, training, development as a franchise brand as a whole, and then obviously coming over here to be a part of Code Ninjas and start this with David and Bert. So as we look at Code Ninjas and what we're doing as a franchise, we knew from day one that franchisees can deliver a better experience in their communities that they live in and that they're serving. They can deliver that experience that's exceptional. They can get involved in the community. They can be a part of the community. And we know that experience is just as important as curriculum. You can have the best curriculum in the world, but if your experience, right, your ninja's experience is subpar, they're not having fun, they're not being engaged, we are going to lose them, no matter how great the curriculum is. So we know that that experience is going to be important. We know that kids aren't going to be able to give us 100% all the time. So there's coaching and development that goes along with that, so that you're going to be able to work with these students as they're inside of Code Ninjas. So that support lens that we have, you have a dedicated person that's going to work with you on compliance. You have a dedicated person that works with you on tech. We have dedicated people that work with you on your, what we call operations, and your performance coaching. Performance coaching has ups and downs, and you need to be able to have individuals there that have experience in performance coaching and are going to work with you on the different stages that you're going to go through as an entrepreneur and as a franchisee. You are going to go through different stages. And those stages are going to be up and down, and having experience there is really going to help you in terms of just keeping your center on pace to reach its goals. We also have something called Code Ninja University. CNU it lives on our internal network of we have a collaboration tool in our network for you to be able to access. And Code Ninja University is hundreds of documents that are all categorized in different stages, different categories that apply directly to what you're looking for. So it's like a big wiki doc, right? But it's all categorized out for you. And that Code Ninja University is there as a tool for you so if you can't get a hold of somebody, you need to know something, you want to dive into some material, operation manual, what does it look like? You can go into Code Ninja University and it's there for you. And we also have a collaboration tool. So we know that for other franchisees, right, your peers are going to be some of the best people for you to learn from, to connect with, and to be able to grow from and with. So knowing that, we've built a collaboration tool inside of Code Ninjas that's going to allow you, when you become a franchisee, to immediately connect with every franchisee across the country. So you're going to be able to work with them, share best practices. You're going to be able to grow with one another in terms of what's happening on the inside, how you're running your camps. Even though we have all those agendas and we have all that fun stuff in place, you're still going to be able to work with your franchisees on a regular basis, through our collaboration tool. You're going to be able to work with them on connecting and understanding either whether they're in your market or not in your market, to share. Even when it comes to understanding the hurdles that you're going to face, they can help you through that and over that. And sometimes you just need a positive voice. There's ups and downs in business, and having franchisees that are living that with you and understand your ups and downs, those are great people to connect with. So we understand the value of the collaboration side of it. We understand the value of the internal side of the support structure for the corporate office. And we know that that's important. Support is the backbone of every great franchise. So we spend a lot of time focusing on our support structure, the compliance side of it, so there's brand consistency. That's critical. You're operating internally for your Code Ninjas, understanding what to do every day, how things are working, scripts and emails, and how are you delivering the message of Code Ninjas to the marketplace. We have full digital marketing strategies in place for you so that when you come aboard, you're going to know exactly what you need to do, where you need to market, the profiles you need to do. And before you even open your doors for business, we give you a 16-week pre-opening roadmap to follow. What to do, when, market where, how, what message to deliver, pricing structures to help you understand where to go. All that is in place for you. We currently, and how is all this being refined? Well, Code Ninja by the numbers, in the last 19 months, we have sold to 350 territories across the U.S. We have 75 locations currently open and operating today, about 75. We are expecting to, by March of 2019, we'll have more than 100 locations open, and we'll probably have sold out of Canada completely by March of 2019. By the way pace is going. So if you're a Canadian and you're listening right now, there's anywhere from 20 to 30 Canadian inquiries a day here at Code Ninjas. So we're getting phone calls and emails like crazy for Canada. So Canada's rolling. We're expecting to sell out of Canada completely by March of 2019. We'll have 100 locations open, and that is 2% of all franchises in the country that's ever been created. According to International Franchising Association, IFA, only 2% of franchise brands ever have 100 locations open in their first 24 months of offering of a franchise. We're on pace to do that. So that's exciting. It's very validating from the marketplace. Our largest group of owners, which I get this question a lot, is who are your owners? Our number one group of owners are IT professionals, people with tech background, coders, developers. Our second largest group are teachers, which is exciting for us. So it's very validating to have the tech world and the teaching world see the value in Code Ninjas, what we do, and how we do it. Every day we get inquiries from teachers, and like I said, the second largest group of owners we have are teachers, which is really validating, exciting. Having coders, programmers, developers be the number one group, IT professionals, IT backgrounds, obviously that's also very exciting for us, very validating. So when we talk, that gives you a bigger scope, a little bit of a picture of a few things. When it comes to the curriculum, we get that question a lot. What about your curriculum? What about your curriculum? What about your curriculum? We have 5 different opportunities for families, 5 or 6 different opportunities for families to get involved in Code Ninjas. It's not just one. It's not just walking in the front door saying, I want to do that, right? We actually have multiple opportunities based on the time, based on the money, based on the commitment of the parents and the student, right? So our main curriculum that is required, we'll go over that. The main curriculum that is required is our BELT program, which is that drop-in program I mentioned earlier. This is a flexible learning system. This is this curriculum is cumulative learning, so it's ongoing. It's actually compounding onto one another, and how that works is within each BELT is a learned set of skills and a learned set of concepts. At the end of each BELT, our students are required to build a game that shows their proficiency from inside that BELT. And that's how they progress to the next BELT. Every BELT then compounds onto one another. Every BELT is intertwined. So they're consistently working and using the skills that they've learned from prior BELTs, and they're using those skills throughout each BELT. So it's all interconnected learning. It's the curriculum is all connected all the way through. It's not random topic learning. Every student has to start in the beginning. This curriculum is 45% exclusive and proprietary to Code Ninjas. This curriculum has an exclusive robotics program that's only available at Code Ninjas in all of North America. This curriculum also has a proprietary set of textbooks that go along with it. This curriculum lives on our dashboard that lives on our platform in the cloud. Students can only access that curriculum from inside of our center onto our dashboard. So when a student walks in, they're going to scan their wristband right at the front. That unlocks their ability to access the curriculum from inside the dojo, inside the classroom. Once they do that, they sit down, they crack their computer, they're going to log in through the cloud, they're going to have their textbook, they're going to know their topic to do that day. On the dashboard is going to show what they've done, the games that they've already built, so they're going to show all their progression. They can actually go back and play prior games, so they can always be seeing what they've done, what they've accomplished. Everything we do is made up of little wins. We want our students to stay motivated, be motivated, see that they can accomplish this so they can continue to push forward and see the result of their work. And everything is a game-based curriculum. So, and we dive further into this at our Discovery Days, which we host on the second Thursday of every month. We host Discovery Days, and those Discovery Days are by invitation only, and we can talk more about that one-on-one, what it's like to be invited to a Discovery Day. Discovery Days typically have 25 to 35 attendees, and like I said, we do those every single month on the second Thursday of each month. So that gives you a pretty good idea of that required curriculum. We also do camps, we do workshops, we do after-school programming, we do birthday parties. And we do something called a Parents' Night Out. Parents' Night Out is a program that we do that our centers can do. It's not required, but that's really your time to show off your culture. That's really your time to show off your Code Ninjas experience. All right, there's always STEM-related games. It's fun, but that is something that you can do that really is something that can show off who you are as Code Ninjas and your fun aspect of what we do, because it has to be fun. After-school programming, there's a whole agenda and everything we do with you along with that, but they're not just coming in and doing the Code Ninjas curriculum for 3 to 4 hours. There's much more that goes on that day with those students that come in. Birthday parties, obviously that has a whole creativity spin to it for those birthday parties. Workshops, 1-day workshops, 2-day workshops. So there's multiple opportunities and multiple revenue streams for you as an entrepreneur when you think of how the revenue is built inside of Code Ninjas and how you can do that. So now that's that first 15 minutes. Pretty simple. All these calls are hosted on our YouTube channel. They're all recorded, so you can go back through and listen to them. Now I'm going to open it up to a Q&A, and when I do that, it's just really hitting *6, and that virtually raises your hand. If I did such a fantastic job today and nobody has questions, we'll wrap up our call early. But if you do have questions, this will be your to be able to ask those. It can be about anything that I talked about today. It can be anything that that you just have general questions on. If it's international, right? So if it's outside of U.S. and Canada, that is something you're going to want to email me directly. I don't want to jump into Mexico, Saudi Arabia, or anything like that right now, Australia. We can do that on one-on-one. Otherwise, if you have any questions, this is going to be your time to hit *6, and we'll dive into your questions. And if we don't have questions, we'll wrap up early. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah, this is Vasant from Gilbert, Arizona. Just wanted to find out if you partner with other companies like Code.org.
Well, we have so some of our Code Ninja owners have been very involved in Code.org. Partnering with them, we have to really know the purpose of why we would partner with them. So we're always open to partner with different aspects of it. Our curriculum isn't going to be offered anywhere besides Code Ninjas, but Code.org has got a lot of great resources, but the Code Ninjas curriculum won't be offered through Code.org.
Okay, thank you. And one more question, if you don't mind. So is your curriculum extensible?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Is your curriculum extensible?
What do you mean by that?
Like, can I actually change the curriculum or add more to it if I want?
No. All the curriculum is going to have to be approved by the Code Ninjas corporate office. We don't want to have Code Ninjas all over the country doing something different. So we have, like I said, we offer multiple different camps, and our current curriculum that I talked about, that drop-in program, that takes 2 to 4 years to accomplish.
Okay.
So the longest on the market today is, I think what I saw was 8 weeks. And our Code Masters program, that's going to be launched in 2019, which is going to be the Code Masters program. That is for 14 years and older. So basically, if you have somebody who starts with us at 7 years old, they could go to 70 years old if they wanted to, starting in early 2019.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question? Hi, do you have a question?
Yeah, this is Vijay Krishna from Appleton in Wisconsin, and a number of local schools here already offer coding classes of some kind. Is there any thought or any interest from Code Ninja to team up with them? How do you see that as competition, or how do we process that?
Well, it's really difficult to offer the Code Ninjas curriculum in a school setting because we don't do classrooms, we don't do lectures. Everything we do is learning at our students' pace. So it's a self-paced program, not a self-taught program, and it's much more in-depth than anything that's taught in the school system. So our curriculum couldn't go into the school system. If you look at right now, if you go and examine the majority of the schools out there that do an after-school program or try to do something internally, it's not part of Common Core. So it's very difficult for them to keep funding with it. And also, it's just not doing real well. If you look at it in general across the board, a lot of them are trying to do an after-school program class setting. So that basically means that you're going to have my daughter sit in class all day long, get done with school, and then go sit in class again right when school's done. And it's not convenient. It's a classroom setting, so what if they're not getting it? Are they going to get the attention that they need? And are they going to be able to really absorb it? How are they showing their proficiency? There's nothing on the market today that has a learning management system that is testing the proficiency of a student that's learning how to code besides Code Ninjas. We built our own LMS. So we're the only program on the market that has its own LMS system that shows, so our students can show their proficiency in what they're learning. And by the way, mom and dad can see it. Mom and dad can play the game. They can go through our parent portal, see how it was rated, play it, use it. That's not offered anywhere. To bring it to the school system, it's not going to be effective. It's not going to be efficient.
Got it. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes, I have a couple, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, definitely Code Ninja seems to be gaining some traction in where I am. By the way, I'm based in Richmond, Texas, very close to Houston. And and I don't know if you mentioned this already, but I was curious more about like the cost associated with getting a franchise. Is that something you can mention now, or do you want me to reach you directly for it?
No, I mean, well, first of all, Houston is a completely sold-out market, so I'm sorry to tell you that there's nothing available within 500 miles of you or more. So unfortunately, I mean, your area is completely being developed with 27 Code Ninjas coming in the next 18 months. There's just no room anymore in Houston and the surrounding communities. But, I mean, you can go on our website. You can see the breakdown of cost. You can see the breakdown of franchise fees. You can see the cost of opening. It's all listed right on there on our website.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I saw, and that's what I wanted to ask. Is there a way to, like, find out, to, like, partnering with an existing franchisee?
Well, I mean, you'd have to connect with them. We don't set up partnerships with our franchisees. That's too much of a liability.
Okay. Right. But is your model accommodate that? Like, is that something the franchisees do? Like, have you seen that happen?
I have not seen franchisees team up with a random stranger, no. I've only seen franchisees team up with colleagues and family members.
That's right. I mean, I think you're misunderstanding my question, and what my question was. Yeah, what my question was. My question wasn't about teaming up with random strangers. My question was about teaming up in general. So that's what I was asking.
I mean, our franchisees will team up with business partners, with family members and such, yes.
Yeah. And just final question, where do they find the teachers and the resources, in the sense that what kind of skill level do these teachers need to have?
So all of our code senseis are usually range from the ages of 17 to 22 years old. And we give you a complete training agenda, pathway to find them, interviewing them. We give you all the information in regards to where to find them, interview them, job descriptions, how to pay them, how to schedule them, who to look for. We give you all of that when you're a franchisee. We give you all that great information.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for your questions. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah, hi. So we are based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And
wonderful. You got snow up there already, I bet.
Yeah, it looks like it's really foggy here. So, yeah, probably we might be expecting some snow. We had a spell of snow like 3 weeks back, but now, again, it went back to beautiful. Now, again, we are in crap.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was your question?
Yeah, so you must have covered it before we joined the conference call, but what's the age group that you are targeting? The age group of the kids?
Currently it's 7 to 14. And then, like I said, in early 2019, we'll have our Code Masters program, which is for 14 and up. And that's for teenagers, young adults, senior citizens. It doesn't matter.
Okay, I see. And another question is regarding the cost structure associated with the franchisee? I know I've seen the breakdown on your website, but it must be in U.S. dollars. So when it comes to Canada, does it still apply, or you have something different for Canada?
We made some adjustments for Canada. Canada is obviously a different market than the U.S. in terms of real estate availability and some of the design and build out. So we did make some adjustments to Canada. We can connect with that one-on-one, and I can break that down with you, either myself or Jeff Thames, whoever you've been communicating with. We can break the differences down with you.
Okay, I see. Okay, yeah, that is it for now.
Wonderful. All right. Thanks for your question.
Thank you.
Hi, you have a question?
Hi, yes. My question is regarding the current model. Like around how many hours per week each student takes, or what is kind of the current average for students to attend the classes?
Yes, so typically students will come in for either 1 day a week for 2 hours, or they'll stop by and they'll use the center for 1 hour, 2 days a week. It all depends on the family and the student. But typically it's about 2 hours a week.
Great. And in terms of the dojos that you already have open, how much is kind of retention of students and how much is kind of new students? For how long the current students stay in the program?
Yeah, so when it comes to the data side of things, every March we release a new FDD, which then goes into more data of how we do it. Right now, our students, we're retaining students for a longer period of time than we even expected. But when it comes to actually those exact numbers, in the March 2019 franchise disclosure document, we'll be releasing more data in terms of how long the average student has stayed, retention levels, attrition levels. We tell all of our franchisees they want to shoot for a 10 to 20% attrition. So that means you're basically keeping 80 to 90% of your students. You're going to be keeping them. That's the goal. We have some centers that are a little higher than that. We have some centers that are lower than that. It all comes down to really the engagement and the area that you're in, and your price. Right? And our students having fun.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Hi, this is Vijay Krishna again from Appleton, Wisconsin.
Yes.
My question is pertaining to one is the financial performance of your existing franchises, and secondly, I think you covered that in the last question as well, as far as the student performance is concerned. And additionally, I'm curious about the feedback you received from students and parents about on your course.
Yeah, and I think a couple of things. One, you can take my word for it, but also if you just do some general Google searches on Code Ninjas, you'll see that our centers individually have a very, very high ranking through Facebook and through Yelp. We encourage parents all the time to go on there and give feedback to how Code Ninjas is doing. We also survey our parents on a regular basis, and we do those surveys every 6 months. We survey our centers that all over the board just to get an understanding of how families are thinking, what they're saying, would they do it again, how's the cost, some really easy questions from the answer. And we release that information to our franchisees so they're able to see that. We're continuing to grow, so one thing is you remember that as we are growing and retaining our families, we have to understand that there's a life cycle. There's a student life cycle, right? That student life cycle and the parent life cycle, right? They need to know who we are. That's obvious. They need to trust what we are doing. They need to like us. Therefore, they're going to refer us, and it goes on and on, right? It just keeps going around and round and
Sure.
round. But they need to know us. They need to try us. They need to like us. They need to refer, and it needs to keep going. Not everybody's going to fit in there. Not everybody's going to fit in that life cycle. Some people are going to not have fun anymore, but they need to feel comfortable. They need to feel safe. They need to be able to learn what we're doing, and understanding that trying out one program may not be It's not a one-stop shop. They could try a program and not like it. They may try the drop-in program and say, hey, that wasn't for me. But what about all of our camps? Mm-hmm. What about our parents' night out? What about our birthday parties, right? There's so many more offerings, and we understand that not everybody is going to stay with us. So we need to continue to offer different programs because different people learn in different ways. So that's why we're always adding to our offering, like the Codemasters program, like our Dojo to Go, like our one-day workshops. So we're consistently adding to our opportunities for families to get involved. So if they try something and don't like it, then they can try something else versus it just being the one thing and that's it. Well, I tried that, but I didn't like it. Yeah, but what did you try? Did you just try a parents' night out? Did you just try a one-day workshop? Did you just do a camp? Did you try the drop-in program? Have you done a birthday party there? Have you tried the Codemasters program? So there's more than just coming in and saying, I want to do that Code Ninjas thing. There's so much more to it. And we give our parents much more depth and allow them to start building out STEM goals, STEM learning goals for their son or their daughter. And educating them. A lot of people don't understand that 75% of the jobs, this is from code.org, 75% of the jobs in the future are going to require some sort of coding, programming, STEM background. Not that they need to know how to be a coder, but they need to understand it. 75% of the jobs, according to code.org, are going to have that in the future. We need to educate families and parents, let them know that this is going to be a part of their future, whether they like it or not.
Sure. And thanks for the explanation. That's pretty good. Additionally, just a quick question about financial performance. Do you stipulate a certain financial performance from each? Of course, it's in the franchisee's interest itself, but I'm curious if you have any stipulations as well.
Well, I mean, not really stipulations, but we have it in our franchise disclosure document. We do show financial performance of our center. So we can't do up to date because we only can share financially what's in our franchise disclosure document, and that's updated every March. So every March, more and more data gets added to show performance of our currently then open centers, for the centers open at that time and how they've done. We can't go, I can't like say, okay, well, we only had 6-7 centers open in March of 2018, but we have 75 centers open now. I can't go over the current performance of 75 centers. I only can go over what was going on in March for those other ones.
Fair enough.
So that's why in March 2019, we'll have over 100, which that data will be a little bit more in depth.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yep. Hey, this is Jagadishan from Phoenix.
Wonderful.
I have a question. Yeah. What is the duration of the franchise, please? Is there any specific?
You're going to have to speak up a little bit. It sounds like you're whispering in my ears. I need you to speak up just a tad, please.
What is the duration of the franchise? Do you have any specific period, or it's ongoing, or how it is going to be?
Well, we're a franchise, so franchise fees are ongoing, right? The royalties. The franchise fee, which actually has you purchase your territory, right? That's a one-time franchise fee, and that goes for 5 years for the length of your franchise agreement. At the end of your franchise agreement, we have a $2,000 renewal that happens. We don't charge you a franchise fee again at the end of your 5 years. Franchise royalties, those are every single month, every single transaction, and that's a total, just to make it easy, that's a total of 8%. Just for easy math. Okay. And we provide worksheets and everything for those who enter the process with us, who enter this process of learning more in the discovery of Code Ninjas. We have worksheets and business plans. We have a lot of information that we give to you to help you build out your model.
Okay. So thank you. And the next question is, if we have any specific questions or, clarification needed, do we have any specific phone number or email ID, or how do we contact you?
I mean, in regards to learning more about the franchise?
That's correct.
Yeah, so you should have received an email from someone already. If you haven't, you feel free to email me, and that's Marty, M-A-R-T-Y, @codeninjas.com. If anybody has any questions outside of anything we're touching on today, feel free to reach me at any time at that email address, and that's Marty, M-A-R-T-Y, @codeninjas.com.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marty.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, this is from Calgary again. So I have a couple of questions. I'll start with this. What's the operating margin that we are looking at as a franchisee owner?
Well, that's going to be tough because it's all over the board. So I built a worksheet that allows you to plug and play the data. So you can you can build your BOE, right? You can build your base operating expense around the cost of doing business in your area. So you'll be able to build your BOE, and then you can start setting goals for yourself based on revenue, right? And all the different revenue options. So we know that the drop-in program is required. We know that camps can double your revenue when school's not going on. That can be huge. And we know Parents Night Out are pretty popular, right? So we know those three programs are the most popular. You can build revenue just off of those three, but then obviously one-day camps, birthday parties, if you can either add those in or leave those out. But that worksheet allows you to plug and play all the information and build out, what you may have a goal. Your goal may be I want to have my ROI in 36 months, 24 months, 18 months. You're going to be able to build that out. I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions too. So when you really start to go down this road and you start working with a landlord and he's going to give you free rent for a few months, you can build that into your spreadsheet and you can kind of see where your revenue goals can go.
I see. Okay. And next question is, what is the kind of a territory exclusivity area, right? So let's say if we open one here, so do you have have you set like the miles, like 10 miles, 5 miles, or it goes by the neighborhood?
No, you have a 2 to 3 mile radius depending upon your demographics. So if you were to open up a Code Ninjas in Calgary, and let's say you have a 2.5 mile radius, another Code Ninjas, we're not going to put a Code Ninjas 2.8 miles away. That may be a available territory because it's outside of your protected, but it wouldn't be considered viable because it's too close. So we don't want our franchisees to be stacked on top of one another where they're fighting over the same students. So we like to have our Code Ninjas spaced apart. So when it comes to territories, yeah, it's going to be 2 to 3 miles, but we also have, if somebody's going to be opening up in your same city, it can't be right next to you. It has to be a viable and an available market.
Okay. Yeah, no, fair enough. Now, I know you mentioned that it's a 8% franchisee royalty, right? Which is definitely based on transaction or based on the overall revenue, whatever it is. But what does that include, like that 8%, if you have a breakdown of it?
Well, so when you there's not really going to be a breakdown, like 1% goes here, 2% goes there, 5% goes to this. When it comes to franchising royalty, when you think of royalties, it's what you're getting as being a part of a franchise. So, for example, we have 3 full-time game curriculum developers. We have a support team of currently more than 7 individuals, from compliance to operations to technology. We have 4 programmers and developers that work on the backside of everything as well. And then you have the executive team. You have marketing. So we're not paying for your marketing, but we're providing all the pathways, the messages for digital strategies. So you're getting an entire team that's working with you and supporting you. And it's our job to stay at the tip of the spear in terms of this whole world of the STEM education and coding. And when you have 150 franchisees like we do today, they're also constantly searching the marketplace. So when you have all these franchisees who are always looking at how to have the edge over competition or offer the latest and greatest to their students, that information is always being funneled through the corporate office and seeing how can we scale it, how can we bring something to our franchisees, whether it's going to be a current curriculum on the market or if it's going to be creating a new one. But with 3, so you're getting this entire hub of resource and support and curriculum. Like obviously we have our textbooks and we have our portal and we have our dashboard. We have all all of our product here that we're making and building and using and modifying so that your curriculum can stay fun, can stay exciting. And like I said, it's all interconnected. It's all compound learning. So it's not random topics in terms of the drop-in program. But what about camps? What are we doing? What are the great camps that are happening? What's going on out there? We have companies now coming to us wanting to give us proprietary curriculum, saying, no, we'll give you exclusivity on this whole program because you guys are now so big. With having almost 100, we'll have 100 locations open by February. We're on pace to. That's a lot of boots on the ground franchisees, code senseis, center directors, students. It's pretty impressive to grow as fast as we have. It's very validating, and it's exciting to see companies now coming to us wanting to give us exclusivity.
I see. No, fair enough. Now, when we are hiring employees, like who are these employees? What kind of background and all that we are looking in them.
Yep, we give you an entire job description and agenda for every single person you would hire. So we'll give you interview tips and ideas, job descriptions, compensation models, where to find them. We work with you. You work with our support team, and we have you all that information for you.
Okay. Yeah, just to make sure that they are accessible in the market, right? So I don't know if they have a kind of a unique skill and stuff like that. So if that's the case, then, in our market, we might not find those kind of people so many.
Yeah, we have, with 75 centers open, not one time have we had anybody have a problem with finding a code sensei.
All right. Yeah, no, fair enough. Now, do you provide any on-site training?
We have our new franchisee training that you would come to with your center director at our corporate office in Houston, Texas.
Oh, okay. So can we also, as a franchise owner, can we provide on-site training to students?
Can you provide that on-site training
going to them and giving them the training? Or
giving them what training?
I'm sorry?
Giving them what training? I'm trying to understand your question. Giving them what training?
Yeah, so basically whatever training, the core program that you have in franchisee.
You mean will you be developed? Yeah, you mean will you be developing and training your team to work with your customers? Yes.
Okay.
We give you pathways to follow, but bottom line, it's your job to execute on those pathways. It's your job to execute, train, develop your team. We'll help you. We'll work with you. We give you resources. We have videos, Code Ninja University. We have, we do conference calls. We do all that stuff. But bottom line is it's still your responsibility to train and develop your team.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I think that is it for now.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes, sir, I do. This might be a bit personal, but how is the Phoenix market looking?
It's actually pretty exciting. So, there's only a few. If you look at Phoenix itself, there's only what just is happening right now. I think there's only maybe three. I think there's 3 markets left in all of Phoenix.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If that answers that question. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for taking your time. This conference call. If you're interested in attending a Code Ninjas Discovery Day, if you had a question that didn't get a chance to get answered, feel free to email me, marty@codeninjas.com. We host these calls each and every week. We record them, we post them on our YouTube channel. Discovery Days are the second Thursday of every month. We do have an agenda for those days. We do have it all broken down, and it is by invitation only. So if you're interested in attending one of those, being a part of one of those, please feel free to reach out anytime, and we'll work through what that looks like for you. Otherwise, again, thanks for taking your time today to join the Code Ninjas weekly conference call.